this is just, I'm going to go ahead and say it. What is the one thing that moved the needle in you getting clients in your practice? I love this question. I don't have the name of who submitted it, but thank you to whoever did. So Corey, let's start with you. What is the one thing that you feel like moved the needle? Because really quickly, with our graduates, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, when you're first getting started, it's so overwhelming, and that you have the tendency to want to do all of the things. And I'm constantly talking to our grads kind of out of that mindset when they're first graduating, because I feel like if you're trying to spread yourself thin over a lot of different things, it's much harder to move the needle. So we try to talk about focusing on the things that are going to move the business forward. So that's kind of the behind the question of this and the why. So to get you guys thinking about it. So Corey, why don't you start with this one?
Like finding your niche is definitely the most important thing. Know that we live in a digital world now, and everything is online. So I feel like for me, social media had a huge impact. I mean, I started my business during the pandemic, so it's kind of like I didn't have the chance to actually go out and meet people or go to certain gyms or certain places to actually like, hey, listen, this is my business, this is what I do. So everything became online for me. So, which I feel like I've become more used to that now, which is great. I mean, I feel like online social media, I think that's growing, which is good for a lot of people, but some people are kind of still stuck in like just doing I'm going to go to this location and just pass out flyers, which that totally works too. I mean, I would love to do that right now, but I feel like I said, I'm more geared towards social media. And a lot of I feel like a lot of these services that go into certain places, it's not really common practice, especially now, just because a lot of people are just like, ooh, like, I don't want to be near people, or I don't want to do this or do that, which is, it makes sense. I totally get it. So I had to adapt. I think that's one thing that a lot of people need to start doing is being able to adapt to these certain situations. As I think that's the most important thing, because if you don't adapt, then you kind of end up I feel like you fall by the wayside a little bit. Which is like, there's nothing wrong with you as a person. It's just one of those things I think that a lot of people they just can't move forward with that because they don't know how to they don't have an online presence at all. And that's one thing that I kind of, like myself, I kind of broke out of. I did not like want to be on social media at all. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And now I'm creating reels.
You're killing it
every day, which is great. I feel like that's like, I think social media is really what moved the needle in my direction, in the right direction for me getting clients, just because I think that social media is like, that's just what the thing is now.
Yes.
Like for me, that's working for me, I should say.
Yes, exactly. And it doesn't have to be for everyone, but just so you guys know, Corey, be sure, all of our grads here, Dr. Beth, Lauren, Corey, they're all tagged in our promotional material for this webinar. So be sure to follow them all. And Corey, you will see he's totally just gone like full in on reels. And I think what makes your reels so successful is exactly what we were just talking about. You figured out the person you're talking to. So like when you create your reels, it's so clear that you are talking to that one client that is your ideal client. Right. And that is the key, I think, to a lot of accounts that take off, as opposed to accounts that are kind of all over the place. So kudos to you. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Okay, I know a lot of our grads and students have lots of questions about social media as well, but that's a good place to start. So thank you. Okay, Dr. Beth, why don't you go ahead and chime in about the one thing that you feel like started to really move the needle in your business?
Yeah, so I'd have to say it was mastering my messaging. And that kind of goes along with what Corey said and what you were just saying. And when I say master my messaging, I mean mastering the messaging about what I did, like about my method and my process, and also mastering the messaging about who I helped the best. And that kind of goes along with what Corey said as well. When I really saw a huge shift was when I started speaking confidently. And that took, again, this did not come overnight. I always have to keep saying that. Like when I nailed down my method, like once I got the system that I just described to you guys, once I got that system down and I was able to like nail down, okay, my process. And, you know, everybody has a process, guys. Like all you guys listening, you have a process. You just haven't sat and just written it out. And that takes some time because you don't necessarily see it at first. But once I got really clear, and I had a business coach, so that's my disclaimer. You know, once I got really clear on that, on my method and my system, and that gave me so much more confidence to start speaking about it. Because before I was kind of like, well, I help and I do, you know, it's just kind of like, what do I do, you know, kind of. But once I got clear and it's like, okay, no, this is my program. In phase 1, we do this. In phase 2, we do this. In phase 3, we do this. And that gives you confidence when you know that you have a system that gets results, right? Like that. And so that was a big part of it. And then mastering the part about storytelling, that was the big part. I didn't realize how important that was. You know, you and Lizzie, you and I have talked in our last live about, you know, how I went through my own weight loss journey, right? But I wasn't necessarily comfortable talking about that when I first started. I really wasn't. And I'm like Corey, I wasn't really into social media. It's taken me, you know, I'm there kind of, you know, I kind of went in kicking and screaming a little bit. And now I'm more comfortable with it. But you know, once I really started telling my story and mastering the art of storytelling of my clients, right? With their permission, of course. But it's like my business coach told me, copywriting, write, copy. So it's like, once I start, I'm like, okay, what are my clients saying? That's what I need to write on social media and everywhere. You know, that's my message. And when she said that, it was like, that's so simple, but why did I think of that before? So I mean, that really shifted it. I mean, like seriously shifted it. And the interesting thing is that like I had clients come in like last year and they told me that was confirmation. Like one of my clients was like, your messaging is, and I mean, it's like, wow. And one of my clients actually asked me who my business coach was. So it's like, okay, something's working so it's like, you know, but that really was key, mastering the art of messaging. So goes along with what you two were just saying.
Absolutely. And quick question. So did you hire a copywriter or did your business coach also help you with the copy? Because copy, I want everyone to know that like, personally for me, I have a hard time writing my own copy in my business. Like it can be really hard to figure out a way to craft that messaging. So don't be afraid to invest in things. So I just, out of curiosity, did you hire a copywriter and a coach or did the coach help you with the copy?
So my coach is a master at messaging.
There you go.
That's her specialty. So she taught me that. I did not hire a copywriter. And I want to tell you, like, full transparency, when I first started posting, it would take me, and I look at it now, it would take me hours to write one post. And that's no joke. I mean, just being honest. So guys, give yourself grace. Like it would literally take me hours because I just didn't know how to organize things. So my coach really helped me with that, like getting kind of those core pieces, like start here, and, you know, just really giving me a formula. So yeah, but my coach helped me with that, and I did not hire a copywriter.
Okay, that's great to know. Yeah, that's definitely, I would say, if you're starting out and you have the funds to invest in some things, copywriting and messaging and figuring out your niche, highly recommend investing in that for your business because it can really help things take off. Okay, great. So Lauren, why don't we go with you? What do you feel like was kind of the one thing that really started moving the needle in your business?
I would say when I kind of focused on one thing. So my brand, I guess you would say, is Lux Fitness Studio. I've never been a person who really likes to be like the center of like I like teaching classes, but I make it about the workout, and I'm kind of like one of those people that's a little bit shy. So things took off when I kind of shifted and I started an account outside of like my personal account and made it a brand. So I didn't have to be the face of it anymore. And I think that helped it grow faster too, because people weren't tagging me, they were tagging the community, like, and they feel like they're a part of it. So it's kind of like people, you know, when you identify as like, you know, you do a Peloton workout or whatever kind of workouts you do, like people wear the shirts, like that kind of thing. So shifting to a brand made a big difference for us, and like creating shareable content too. So it's actually a goal of mine to post more on social media this year, but we've been sharing stuff that, or like making our challenges have things that are shareable, like downloads or whatnot. So people want to take pictures of what they're doing and they tag us. And then we've grown like completely through referrals on social media that way. So I would say that was kind of the number one thing.
Okay, that's awesome. And that's so cool because it's so different from what Corey and Dr. Beth are doing. And so again, it just goes to not only like understanding what works for your clients, but also playing to your own strengths, right? So that's really great. Thank you for sharing that.